So I bought a lathe, and I need to learn how to use the thing. One of my neighbours came up to me and was like, "Hey, I'm about to go take a lathe to the tip. Just wondering, would you want to buy it for 20 quid? £20? God, yeah, I'll take your lathe off you." So I am now the proud owner of a lathe. It is a Record DML24X. Don't know if that's a good lathe or a bad lathe, but this thing was in very, very bad condition. Everything was rusted, so I quickly cleaned everything up. I should have done that on camera, really. But it also came with a bunch of dull chisels. I sharpened them up a little bit. They still need a little bit of sharpening. But this thing is like adamant on killing me. I've had this for about 2 days now, and I've already smacked my thumb with a chisel. This came loose and banged into the workpiece I was working on, and it threw it across the shed, all sorts. So I thought, you know, if this thing is going to kill me, why not get it on camera, and we'll make a little video of me trying to learn how to use a lathe. I'm not going to use this surface because it is not flat. I'm going to see if I can do it on the outside, and I have no idea how to sharpen one of these, but I am just going to follow this bevel around here, trying not to kick up too much of a burr in here. Let me know down in the comments if that's the right way to do it. I don't know, but let's sharpen it. There we go. That feels a lot sharper now. Let's head over to the lathe and let's see if it's got any better cutting. So the first thing I want to learn and get used to is dimensions. Cutting this to like the right dimensions, keeping things concentric. You know, because there's no point doing all this if I'm trying to like, say I'm trying to turn a small dowel for a project. I want to be able to make that dowel the same diameter the whole way through. So I'm just going to see if I can do that. Let me just lock all this down. So first thing, we need to push the tailstock into whatever this is. It's not a chuck, is it? It's like a center. I really do want a chuck for this lathe because I'd love to be able to turn some bowls and stuff. Unfortunately, this lathe didn't come with a chuck. I do have this, but it's not the right thing to go in there. I bought this absolutely years ago for something. I can't remember what I was bought it for. But anyway, get rid of that. We've got it in there now. If you guys know where I can find cheap chucks, let me know. Ideally in the £30 to £40 region, since you know, I'm broke. So that would do well. But anyway, shut up, Travis. Get on with it. Right. So what's this diameter? So this currently is 45 mil. Let's try turn this to 40 mil all the way through. So let's set this to 40. I need to take 2.5 millimeters off either side. There we go. So I need to get this to 40 mil. That's my challenge. Let's... Ah, God. I need to move this in more. Try to make sure that's... It looks parallel. This is going to be what I'm going to reference off. Because my game plan here, I have done no research on wood turning or anything like that. I am just going off what I assume you do. So obviously this is to rest your chisel on. If I put my finger on the chisel there and I use that as a guide, surely I can keep it concentric. So let's try to turn this down to 40 mil. Right, So I think that is 40mm. It's a very rough surface finish on there. You guys let me know if this is normal, but from the Instagram videos and stuff I've seen of people turning bowls and stuff, they usually have a lot better surface finish. And I know this is a roughing chisel, I think. At least I think I've heard someone refer to one of these before as a roughing chisel. I'm not quite sure which one of these chisels is going to be the smoothing chisel, whatever that is. So I think I'll just have to sand and do stuff like that. But let's see. This is 40mm. Right, that's slipping there. It's not biting. It's a little bit tighter over here. So let's try correct for that. We'll touch off here. And we'll try and keep it concentric going across. That taper. Nope, we'll do another one. Touch off. Right, let's see. We are still a little bit tight over here, so we'll touch off on the middle and bring it over. Yeah, I'd say that's good. Good 40mm the whole way across. So I've managed to do that. That wasn't too hard. I'm guessing as long as this is parallel to this, which I wouldn't even know how you dial this in. On a metal lathe and stuff, you'd run it on the bed and run it against a chuck or a flat surface and stuff, and you'd have a dial indicator. I mean, I guess there'd be too much slop in this to be able to even use a dial indicator. So, I mean, this seems pretty good for the purposes I need it for. That seems to be perfect 40 all the way across. Next thing I want to do is try work up to a shoulder. So, I don't know. I'm not going to make a bolt on this lathe, am I? But say we're going to make a wooden bolt, we'd want, you know, obviously room for the head and then for the threads. So let me grab a pencil. Let's mark a line on this, and we'll try work up to that shoulder, and we will take it down to 35mm, I think. Oh, bugger! Oh, fuck! So we've gotten this down to 35mm now, which is great. It's all concentric and the same all the way through. But I'm facing into a little issue here of being able to square off the shoulder, and you can see I might have slipped there a little bit with the chisel. Working up to a certain point is a bit hard. I don't know if I'm using the right tool for the job, but it seemed, as you saw in the video, to skip over. So if any of you guys know what I'm doing wrong there, please let me know in the comments. But I get to a certain point or something here and it wants to, like that, it just wants to pull in. I don't know if that's because of wood grain. I mean, the grain on here is pretty straight and it's all running in one direction, so I don't think it'd be that. But we need to figure out how to square this shoulder off now. Maybe this parting tool that might square it off. Let's try that. So we've squared that shoulder off. That's a good 35mm there. So yeah, that seemed to have done the trick. Let's try work to the shoulder again, since we're struggling on that, and we'll try go down to 30mm instead of 35mm. Let's. So yeah, working with the chisel at like a 45-degree angle going upwards seems to cut a lot better. Which, you know, this is at like a 45-degree angle, so I don't know if there's any merit in that. You know, it'd probably help if I did some research before just jumping into something, but I'm learning as I go here, and I'm having fun. We're making a weird thing. So, just to have a little play around now, I want to try and make this a taper going this way. It's obviously knocking off these corners, rolling it over, and making a taper. So, I think what we're going to have to do to achieve that is unlock this and spin this round so we have the taper size we want. I'm running into the headstock here, so I can't move it any closer than that. Hopefully that isn't too much overhang for the chisel, but we will find out. We'll see how that goes. So we'll lock that down, make sure nothing's rubbing. No, nothing's rubbing. So we'll do that, and we'll try put... Wrong tool. So we'll try put a slight taper in it. Right, so as far as I'm aware, I've seemed to have gotten the basics down. That is a taper. I don't know how to accurately measure it. We got something with a flat edge here. Here's a parallel. This is for a what you call it? Spinny table thing. That's what we'll call it. And that seems to be a nice flat taper. You can't tell on the camera, can you? Because of that. Let's try to find a corner and poke it on a corner so you can see there's no light or anything. Yeah. So obviously this part over here is flat because if I would have did it from here, I would have ran into the tailstock and probably cut this off and sent this flying. But yeah, that's a taper. Right. I guess we'll cut the camera here and we'll try find something useful to make. Right, so I have a round file here. It's a really good round file, chainsaw file sort of thing, but it doesn't have a handle on it, so let's make a handle. I've already pre-drilled the hole for it, so hopefully, because I don't have a drill press, you see how it's a little bit wonky and it's not exactly straight. Hopefully by using that hole and turning between centers, then we can make it concentric and I can make a nice file handle. So let's get this bit of oak in the chuck. We'll use this chisel handle as an example. Let's set the depth, let's set how high this needs to be. There we go. So we need to rough this out until it is that thin all the way across. So let's get roughing. Right, so we have that down to the size we need. It's not perfectly straight, but I'm not too bothered about it being perfectly straight since we are going to be changing the wherever that is of it. So I want this to fit nicely. So if I'm gonna, for my hand, so if I'm looking how it dips into my hand there, this space right here, these need to be dipped down. So if I put my hand like this here, where does my hand dip down? Okay, it starts to go here, and then here, back up here. So this side needs to be big, this needs to come down, that needs to come down. So let's just mark all that off. Right, so the idea here is we're going to make these two dip down, and we want to try and make this as smooth as possible, how it flows up and down like that, so it's a nice grip in the hand. And we're going to try leave this at the size it's at as long as this, just so we have something to put our hand up against to while we are filing. So let's start roughing these two parts out. Oh, I've absolutely nailed that. That feels good in the hand. So, wow, this is quicker than I expected, really. I guess we'll square... Well, I can't square up that end because these are in the way. Oh, no, I've made a mistake. this is the front. This is where the file's going into, and I've been making it so it goes that way. Oh, Travis, you bloody idiot. It still feels alright that way, but it just means we've got to do some work here now. Oh, I guess you could have a big butt at the end, couldn't you? We'll make this look a bit more appealing. There we go, doesn't look too bad now. We have some pretty deep gouges in there though from moving it around, so I'll try just do a little smoothing pass as we go along. Oh, that's a bit better. Right, so we'll try face this off a little bit here. I'm just going to try use a normal chisel for this. Okay, we won't use that chisel. I'll grab my thinner chisel and see if I can just square that up a little bit there. That seemed to work rather well, actually. Little facing tool. So now there's nothing for it but to sand it. And if I'm sanding it, I don't know if I don't know, but this seems like a bad idea to have here if I'm sanding it. So let's remove this. What would you call this? Cross sled? Tool holder? God knows. But we'll move that out of the way, and we'll grab some sandpaper. What is this? 240 grit. That's probably a bit too fine. What is this? Don't know, everything's rubbed off on the back, but it feels a bit rougher. So we'll sand. Note as well is that I haven't got this in a compromising position, like wrapped around my finger doing it or anything like that. I'm holding it flat palm like that, thumb there, so if the lathe wants to grab it, it can take it out, and I'm not going to get grabbed into the lathe. Although, to be perfectly honest, I think I could probably stop this lathe with my hand. I'm not going to try that, but just a little safety thing. Something I know from working on metal lathes is, you know, you don't put your hands in compromising positions. So let's go. So that looks like a pretty decent finish to me. What we're going to do now is slap some oil on there just to give it that nice look. I'm going to do something that might be frowned upon, but I think it will be safe as long as I am aware of what's happening and everything. Let me whack a little bit of... Oh, never mind. It's quite a lot of it. But I'm going to slowly run this over and like that, and do it like that, and I'm going to make sure that my fingers aren't caught in this cloth. A little bit scared, but let's go for it. Alright, so that should be our finished handle now. So let me undo the tailstock. Where's my little wrench? There it is. Loosen this up. Boom, and there is our handle for our file. Where's the file? I drilled this hole so it should go in the majority of the way, and the rest of it will just have to be knocked home. Let me grab a little hammer, give it a few taps. Boom! Oh wait, it didn't seem to solve our concentric issue. As you can see, it's still slightly out of alignment. I guess drilling the hole all the way through would be the only way you could get this perfectly straight, or just drill the hole straight to begin with. But I'm happy with this anyway. Feels better to file. So yeah, that's going to be it today, guys. I just wanted to show off my little lathe, show myself trying to learn how to use it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you want to go ahead and support the channel, you can buy some beautiful coasters, chopping boards and stuff like that on my website, barrovianmade.com. It'll be in the description below. But I'll wait for you in the next video. See you later, guys.